Special counsel's office has directed the FBI now to investigate an apparent scheme by pro-Trump activists to smear Robert Mueller with phony claims of sexual misconduct. According to NBC News, it began when, quote, multiple reporters were contacted over the past few weeks by a woman who said she had been offered money to say she had been harassed by Mueller. Well, those solicitations, sent to at least two women, came from a company email that NBC has linked to a 20-year-old pro-Trump conspiracy theorist, Jacob Wohl. And that's Wohl with Trump there in a photo he posted in 2016. Wohl denied involvement, even though he's been predicting, quote, a scandalous story about Mueller on his Twitter account. However, a phone number associated with a company offering cash to those women was, quote, listed in public records as belonging to that guy's mother. Well, was also linked to Jack Burkman, another Republican conspiracy type, pushing similar claims against Mueller and is reportedly involved in this very scheme. Well, now both activists could be under investigation by the agency. In a rare statement yesterday, the special counsel's office said, quote, when we learned last week of allegations that women were offered money to make false claims about the special counsel, we immediately referred the matter to the FBI for investigation. Joining me right now is Natasha Bertrand, who's been covering this for The Atlantic. Natasha, it's all yours. Tell me this story from soup to nuts.
So a couple weeks ago, reporters began receiving this letter from this woman who called herself Lorraine Parsons, and she said that she had been contacted by a gentleman who identified himself as a researcher and investigator and said that he worked for a private intelligence firm called Surefire Intelligence. Now, she was kind of irked, or she said she was, because this man had offered to pay her roughly $20,000 in cash and an extra $30,000 in credit card payments in order to make up false claims against the special counsel. She reached out to reporters, but she was not willing to speak by phone to these reporters. So it kind of went uncorroborated because we couldn't confirm her identity, and she wasn't willing to speak to us to explain a little bit more about how this all happened. So fast forward a few weeks, and as it turns out, the special counsel now was made privy to those allegations because journalists were reaching out and asking for comment about what this woman may have been talking about. So the special counsel then referred the matter to the FBI for further investigation because, of course, this is a very serious thing. If women are potentially being paid to make up smears about the special counsel just, whenever, but also just 8 days before the midterms. So fast forward to yesterday, and another woman actually reached out to me. Her name is Jennifer Taub. She's a professor at Vermont Law School, and she said, as a matter of fact, about 8 days ago, I received an email from a man who also claimed to work for Surefire Intelligence, asking if I had information about Mueller based on my past encounters with him that I'd be willing to speak to him about, and he would pay me if I were to tell him about those experiences, even though she has actually never met Mueller in her life. So here you have two women who, the first woman, we can't really identify her. We don't know for sure who she is. But the second woman's description of this and the email that she forwarded to me match elements of the first woman's description. So it all becomes a little murky, but just to reiterate, the fact that the special counsel released a statement on this is an earthquake. I mean, the special counsel never comments on anything, so it just shows how seriously they're taking it.
Let's take a look at Jennifer Taub on MSNBC Today.
When I got this email Monday, the 22nd, I thought it was rather sketchy. And at first, my instinct was just to email this person back and say, I don't know Robert Mueller. I've never met him. Have a nice day. But then, before I did that, it occurred to me that this was a very creepy kind of setup. It seemed like they were casting a really broad net, and I thought I should alert this special counsel.
Why do you think that you were contacted?
I have no idea why I was contacted. I think I'm the wrong kind of person that you would invite to participate in some conspiracy to violate federal law.
Well, that's the question, the illegality of this kind of punking and making up stories. It is illegal, right? That's why the FBI is involved.
I'm not a lawyer, but it certainly seems like there would be some kind of criminal activity here if they're trying to essentially bribe women to make up stories about the special counsel. And just to be clear, there have actually not been any allegations against him. No women have come forward making serious allegations against Mueller. It's the only allegations that exist right now are the ones that, women are potentially being offered money or have been offered money to make up stories. And it's important, I think, to shed light on this because one of the participants in this scheme, Jack Berkman, who's a GOP lobbyist, conspiracy theorist, he is saying that he's going to hold a press conference tomorrow, with a woman who claims to have all of these salacious accusations against Mueller. But
what do you mean
this
she has these salacious? Is it somebody who was victimized purportedly, or just somebody who heard it secondhand?
No, someone who Jack Berkman says is going to accuse Mueller.
Oh, an actual accuser.
An actual accuser.
Well, we'll see. We also know that one of the participants in the scheme, that idea went away, is Jack Berkman, is someone named Jacob Wall. Tell me about Jacob Wall.
So Jacob Wall is kind of a pro-Trump Twitter personality. He's
20-year-old.
He's roughly 20 years old. Yeah, he is known for being kind of a disgraced kind of hedge fund guy, even though he's very young. All he does all day really is spread conspiracy theories on the internet, but he happened to create this bizarre fake intelligence company called Surefire Intelligence that was the company that was allegedly reaching out to these women, offering them money to tell stories about Mueller. After NBC and after I dug into the domain records for this company, we found out that it all linked directly back to Jacob Wall, down to the phone number that was listed on the website actually redirected callers to his mother's cell phone. So it seems like this is all one big interconnected web, and we're not quite sure where it stands. But the fact of the matter is that Mueller obviously took this very seriously, and he doesn't want to take any chances.
Yeah, I think the phrase fake news comes to mind.
Absolutely.
This is the real thing.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.